What's going on, guys? Church here. Welcome to the Proven Knowledge Podcast, the Creators Edition. This is episode 1. The Creators series that we are going to be running is going to feature many of our close friends, but also some people that we admire, maybe people we look up to, that are artists, producers, engineers, graphic designers, a lot of people in the music industry. We're going to kind of pick their brains, get some behind the scenes about their life, their career, and hopefully give you guys some insight as to how you can apply what they know and what they've learned to your own career and your own journey. So on today's episode, I got the pleasure of interviewing Jessica Jones. She's a North Carolina R&B artist. And we had a great conversation. We talked about her new song called My Everything. We talked about her inspirations, what she's been doing during the quarantine, and a lot more. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Proven Knowledge Podcast. I'm your host, Church. Jay is not here today. He is busy, but he wished he could be here. He said he's sending his wishes. And today we have a special guest, Miss Jessica Jones. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Church, how are you doing?
Awesome. I'm doing good.
Great.
So to start off today, I kind of wanted to just kick it off with who is Jessica Jones, and kind of just tell us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know.
All right, so Jessica Jones, I consider myself the original Jessica Jones because I don't know, a lot of people watch, Marvel and all that, but there is a Netflix show called Jessica Jones, and that is actually my born name, and so I kind of got into that a little bit, and as I started, maneuvering into the music industry, I started, looking for a name, and I thought I'd kind of, keep it simple because most people have heard of the, Marvel superhero Jessica Jones, and so, I just put a twist with it by adding $3 signs. Because I like to say I'm the original,
That's a pretty cool backstory. I actually didn't know it was the whole superhero Marvel thing. I'm actually kind of a big Marvel person, so that's pretty cool. I didn't really know that. During the times we're in right now, how do you think your mental health is kind of holding up? I know we got the whole pandemic, the quarantine, whatnot going on. What are you doing to kind of take your mind off things? Are you staying busy? Anything like that?
Oh, yeah. So, one thing about me is mental health is very important. That's something I take serious. So for me, during this time, it's a lot. I'm doing a lot of meditation, a lot of being out in nature as much as I can. And really, doing a lot of listening to lots of different kinds of podcasts to keep my mind right. Because, I suffer. I'm the type of person, I'll tell you, I'm all open about mental illnesses. I do suffer from depression, anxiety, and bipolar. So like I said, I take it very serious. And so I've had to learn, how to control my mind, really. That's really where it's at. It's all in the mind. And so I had to learn how to calm my mind. And for me, during this time, it's been a lot of meditation,
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that meditating has helped them out a lot. I'm not really a meditating person. I kind of just throw on music or, like you said, listen to podcasts. I've actually been listening to, there's a podcast called A Waste of Time with It's The Real, and I've been digging into their podcast a lot more. They've been doing episodes every week, so I've been listening to them.
Okay, I'm going to check them out.
They've been doing quarantine episodes every single day, and they'll call up 3 people a day. And
nice,
they're very funny guys. They're 2 Jewish dudes that live in New York, and they just keep it really funny and lighthearted. So that always cheers me up. But yeah, I've heard a lot of people do the meditating thing and stuff like that. So that's good to hear, though.
Absolutely.
Have you learned any skills, kind of weird skills during the time? If you have free time, are you cooking? Are you, I don't know, watching certain shows, or I don't know, anything weird you've done during the time?
I definitely have tapped into being more open-minded. There's things that I'm doing now where I would say I didn't have that much confidence in. I've built a skill on that, and I could probably say dancing because
dancing.
I like dancing, but I never was I like dancing, and so I built that skill over the time. So that one's kind of fun at the same time because I'm goofy, I like to have fun with it, so it's my dancing, I can't take myself serious, so it's but yeah, dancing and more more of watching what I eat. You know, like I've changed that. Being mindful of what I eat, drink, and all that stuff. Like overall health.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah, see, I started doing like the healthy eating thing the first couple weeks, and then I like gave it up quick because for some reason I was under the impression that we were gonna be like short on all these foods, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. So I was like, hey, if I should start eating healthy, I should start now. And then I kind of like kicked it to the side then, so that wasn't really good on my part. But yeah, and then like dancing, yeah, I can't dance in public. I will dance when I'm alone in like the bathroom or something. No one is gonna see me dance. So that's one thing I know. But that's good. You're learning new things, I guess. So as far as your music goes, how did you get into music? Kind of where did that all begin for you?
So I really I've always like loved music, but I've never really like took myself serious into music until like recently. Like honestly, probably like in the last 6 months. Because I didn't really. I've always said this because it's weird, but the way I hear myself isn't the way everybody else hears me. And so to me, when I'm singing or when I'm rapping, whatever, style I'm doing, like it sounds completely different to me. Mm-hmm. And so it took me a while to actually find my voice and listen to people when they say you have a good voice, because to me my voice sounds a different way. So like especially growing up, like
do you think you're your biggest critic? Would you say like you're hard on yourself? You think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I am. I told myself that the other day, and I told somebody I was talking to. I was like, I'm my biggest critic, especially when it comes to my music. Mm-hmm. Like I will record until I feel like it's perfect. And so like I've never been like a perfectionist at anything. So that's how I've kind of learned that. I feel like that, the music industry is where it's at because I've never took anything serious, so.
Yeah, I'd say that's always pretty good. I mean, I don't really give advice out to people a lot because I'm still learning myself and I still feel like I'm growing and all that.
Right.
But I always say, like, when I have younger people ask me, like, what's important in, like, getting in or, like, starting, I just tell them, like, be your biggest critic, but be your best friend at the same time. Like, if you have the balance, you'll be fine. And you just got to continuously work at it and you'll be good. So, do you have like a crew or anything? Like, do you have videographers? Do you have engineers you work with, producers? Or is it just kind of you kind of learning the ropes when it comes to all that stuff?
Yeah, like I'm still in the learning process, the launching process. I have been working with a couple of engineers for the, a couple of songs that I do have out there. But honestly, like I said, I really just started getting into the studio the beginning of March, right before all this started.
Oh, so it was like,
so it just shut everything down for me. So I've been taking that time, like I said, to build it. And so I plan on, when all this is over, I plan on coming out very, very, very strong. Yeah, it's about taking that time.
I've noticed that a lot of like bigger artists, they didn't have, they never recorded in their house before, and a lot of them have been saying they've learned how to do it by themselves because they can't go to a studio and they can't have the engineer and they can't have the producers and all these things. And I thought that was kind of funny how like these people that have been here for like 20 years and they've never tried it out, but they're learning the skill of how to do it and everything. So that's pretty cool. But it just sucks that everybody kind of got shut down like that out of nowhere. That's the shitty part, in all honesty.
Yeah. So, it is. But like I said, it all depends on what type of person you are during this time. You're going to either come out of this, strong, because you took that time to build some skills and, actually
learn something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's to me, that's all I seen it was. Is us taking the time to sit down and reflect, really,
figure it out, yeah. When you write music, I don't know how many songs you've probably written up to this point in your career, but when you write, how does that kind of start for you? Do you hear something that inspires you, or do you just go to the pen, or like how are you doing this? Are you freestyling? Like, what is it?
I kind of do both. Like sometimes I could play me a beat, I could write to it. Sometimes I could sit there and do punching in on a beat. Sometimes I can freestyle. Like it all depends. Like I can do it all, but I have to be, as you know, it depends on the right mind the mind set at the time. So I try to, but my favorite probably is, I feel like when I sit and write, I feel like I can kind of look back on it, and that's when I get very,
into it pretty much.
Yeah. So but either way though, but yeah.
Nice. As far as inspiration goes, what inspires you as far as artists go? Like, do you listen to certain people every day, or do you listen to all different types of music? Like, who are your biggest inspirations, you'd say?
I can say, like, I listen to all types of music. Like, growing up, I can still say she's probably one of my favorites, Lady Gaga. And now I've kind of, I like Lil Baby, I like The Baby, I like Nicki Minaj, I like Cardi B. It goes all the way down to Taylor Swift, like it's from there to the Newsboys. Like I listen to it all, like like
so it's a pretty wide range, you'd say.
Oh yeah. I've always said, like, I'm probably gonna have at least one song in every genre, like.
I remember when I first got into producing, there's my one friend's uncle. He lives in California. I remember him telling us, like, when we got into music, he told us to listen to just all kinds of music. Even if you don't, like, listen to it every day, you should listen to it just to get the appreciation, and it'll help you kind of develop certain styles. Like, if you're a singer or, like, a songwriter, it's going to teach you how to write in different cadences and things like that. And if you're a producer, it would help you, like, with the sounds. You can fuse those old sounds into your new, like, style. So I think it's always good to check out different music. Like, even if I'm not listening to something every day, I have an appreciation for a lot of different stuff. So that's good to hear that you're kind of the same way then about different styles and everything. Okay, if you had 3 albums that you could not go without hearing, this could be by anybody, 3 albums for the rest of your life you had to listen to, what would they be? It's tough.
Ooh, I might say just kind of, albums. Any Lady Gaga album, I mean, all of those were my favorite. I just can't, like, narrow it down.
It's very hard. If you only do one, that's fine. I don't really care. Because there's so much music, I know. It's hard.
I'm going to keep it simple, because I'm going to stick to, like, right now, because when I think of, like, my favorite album that I've heard in a while, it's got to be Lil Baby's My Turn right now.
Yeah, I haven't checked that out yet. I keep seeing people talk about it. I'm going to have to check it out, though. Because I saw DaBaby put out an album, like, a few months ago, and I've heard some of that. But I haven't heard Lil Baby's album, so I'll have to give that a listen eventually. As far as collaboration, like, who do you collaborate currently is what I'll start with, as far as artists go. Have you collaborated with anyone yet?
I do have something in the workings. I haven't exactly, released yet who I'm collabing with, but that is in the working. I've already sent that over, so that should be releasing soon. That's actually going to be in the next thing coming out. It's called Money Coming In, so I'm also going to have a feature on there. And like I said, I haven't disclosed that information just yet.
You gotta save it. You gotta save it for a big reveal.
Yeah. So I haven't really disclosed that information yet. But and I mean, I right now, like, I'm kind of open and kind of finding other people I feel like that are kind of speaking, same things or things that I can relate to. I look into collabing with them because, sorry.
No, you're good.
I look into collabing with them because, like, I feel like, that track should be a whole, motivational talk, but yeah, there's quite a few people that I do want to collab with in the future. I know I want to collab with Cardi B. Like, I already know.
Oh, see, that was my next question, was dream collaboration. So you're kind of just going right into it anyway. So just keep going, keep going.
Yeah,
That's probably
Cardi
really
B
cool.
definitely. She's probably like the top one. And then I ain't gonna lie, I would love to have a song with Demi Lovato, collab with Demi Lovato. I love Demi Lovato. Um, and eventually, take it back to my North Carolinian, the baby. So from the he's actually I like 45 minutes away from where I am. Never met him, but so
Is he
of
from
course
North
he's a
Carol? Is he from North Carolina?
yeah, he's from Charlotte.
Oh, okay,
So
I
yep,
didn't know that actually. I didn't know that. I knew
yep,
Cole.
he's
I
from
knew like
Charlotte.
J Cole and like a few other people are from there. I didn't know he was from there though.
But
That's
yeah, yep,
interesting.
yep. J
Um,
Cole's from Fayetteville. Yep.
yeah, yep. Um, so what is the best piece of career advice you've been given so far? Have you been given any really good advice that you've kind of taken and ran with from anyone as far as music goes?
Um, I would say biggest thing I probably could take from overall life that I had to look back on is always keep an open mind, like no matter what it is, especially when you're trying to learn something and if you don't know something, like keep an open mind, but keep an open mind and be smart about it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
don't just get the resources from a non-reliable source. So sometimes
Yeah.
make sure it's a reliable source and be very open minded. So that's what I've learned.
That's pretty. That's always helpful, I'd say, because you don't want to really take things that either aren't helpful to you or you're taking them from someone that really hasn't been where you're trying to go. I'd say
Exactly
that's
right. Yeah.
usually the goal is to like look at someone who's already where you're at or where you're trying to be, I mean, and just follow their steps kinda, but apply it to what you're doing. I'd say that's
Yep.
always the best way to go.
Exactly.
Um, what is the biggest thing you struggle with financially when it comes to music? Like, do you struggle with promotion? Do you struggle with studio time? What has been kind of an issue for you so far, you think?
Um, I would say I wouldn't say it's like the wrong like financially struggle. I would say it's more of like making the right decisions. Because I always believe that money is always flowing in abundance, and so like I believe if you ask for it, you'll receive it from experience. So like to me, it was more of like putting the finances in the right places,
Hmm.
and I think that's something that like I plan on in the future like helping people, especially as they're trying to launch their music career. It's we need more like I wouldn't say schools, but we need more like educational processes behind this because either way, if you educate people, you're either way you're going to weed the wrong people
Yeah.
out. So like it all, but
Okay. Yeah, that's because usually I hear like mostly indie artists too. They kind of struggle with finding who is trustworthy as well. Like the promotion thing, for example. I've heard a lot of people that, and I've actually done this myself a few years back. You kind of like pay into promotions and things that aren't really helping you. They're kind of just feeding like fake numbers and things like that.
right,
And
yeah,
it kind of takes you a while to learn like what is a good investment and what isn't really going to be that helpful for you in the long run. So
yep.
usually that's kind of what I think people struggle with a lot. Um, how do you think you just talked about education, so let's run with that. How do you think that could be advanced further? Like, do you think it's going to be small startups? Do you think more big artists need to have like schools or something like that? Like, what do you think the answer would be to kind of better educate like indie artists and upcoming artists?
Um, I would say yeah, like having the bigger artists like at the same time kind of come down and be like more mentors. Because I'm starting to see that a little bit. A lot of big artists are starting to sign their own artists and stuff, and I think that's a good start. Because I mean, when you literally, like I say, you start out the mud, like you don't know a lot of things, and it
Hmm.
takes you're gonna need a mentor, and I think that's one thing you should always seek is somebody that's like you said in life where you want to be. Um, and so like I feel like the bigger, the bigger celebrities, the ones that I like to call our idols, I feel like they could always, take the time to invest and not really invest in us, but invest in the future. Because, like I said, especially if they came out the mud, they know what it's like. They know it's hard to find a direction. At sometimes it's hard to know if you're making the right move. And so, but yeah, like definitely.
I know it's always good, like when I get on social media and I see certain people that I follow that are bigger artists and they are doing something like for the community and stuff. That makes me feel pretty good because I know that they're kind of looking out for people like me and you who are like unknown or smaller artists, don't really have a lot of fans or backing yet. So that's always good. And I think that's something we can shoot for as independent creators. Like hopefully down the line we get to give back in the way that they're giving back. So that's always great.
Absolutely.
So you dropped a song this month, right? Called My Everything. Am I right?
I did, yes.
Yes. Good song, by the way. Like it a lot. I listened to it a couple days ago again. It's kind of like, to me, I'll tell you what I thought about it. I thought it was like a new age, like R&B style. It's got some trap elements, I felt. What was the story behind that song?
Literally kind of like as it sounds. The story behind that was like giving my everything, and it's just like, sometimes you feel like it's not enough. Of course, it falls back into love. And so it's like, I think we all reach a point sometimes, and for me, a lot, like I've seen recently, like a lot of my songs, like emotional songs, they literally come through heartbreak right in that moment. Like I can, when I'm going through something, I can just sit there and write like 3 songs. And so that's why sometimes there's days I might not even, think about writing or nothing. There's days I can just go by and not even do nothing. But when I'm in that, mood, I can write 3 or 4 songs in a day. And so, yeah, but
is that one
it was more of like learning life lessons.
Nice. Was that like an older song? Like, have you had that kind of laying around, or did you just recently do that one?
I had recently done that song. I'd done that song probably 2 weeks before I dropped it. I had written that song 2 weeks before.
Fresh off the press, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I want to transition to another kind of thing that not a lot of people talk about. As far as ownership of your music, do you own currently all of your music that you're putting out? Is it just you, or do you have a label that you're signed to? Are you signed to anybody, or is it just?
No, I'm not signed to anybody, but I don't tell everything.
Yeah, you
don't
have to.
There's stuff in the workings always,
okay.
but yeah, so far, yeah, that's one thing. Like I've learned through my engineer, honestly, about the music rights. I'm learning a lot about that. So yeah, like for My Everything, and there was another one that I had posted. I do own the rights to those songs, so I'm actually learning. So yeah, from now on, everything literally that I do, I'm gonna own the rights to it. So that's why I'm always looking for other beats, and I'm always looking for people that I'm always on YouTube. That's usually where I find my beats. Or I know you had sent me some information, so I'm always looking for different beats and stuff like that.
Do you think if the opportunity ever presents, so let's just play like devil's advocate here. Let's say like 10 years down the line, you have like a pretty nice catalog for yourself. You've been doing shows. You have a nice fan base. If there was like an admin deal or a pub deal or something like that that presented itself that worked for you, would you sign for that? Or would you just stay independent if it was working? Like, what do you think? What do you think you'd do?
I know for right now, I can't say, like, I know for right now, at least the next 6 months to a year, like I said, I'm always growing and progressing. Right now, I'm going to stay independent. I don't plan on signing. I do plan on having a manager, but I do not plan on signing with the label. So
Yeah, I respect it because usually a lot of people, again, this kind of goes back to like the what you don't know kind of kills you. I think a lot of people misunderstand what being signed to certain people is all about. Sometimes it is just better to have your own everything yourself. And if you're already willing to put that work in and you already know what you're doing and you have like your footing under you, and if you have a team with you too that's like a trusted team, I think you're good with that. You don't really need like a label if you're able to make it work and you know how to make it work. So I think it's kind of a misunderstanding that people get. Like they think they're going to get signed and it's just going to magically be great for them, and that's not really what it's about. So let's go back to the 10 years thing. Where do you see yourself in 10 years with music as far as your career goes?
I mean, it's a lot. I'm planning on, like, I've already 10 years down the road. That's a lot. It's a lot that's gonna happen.
Hopefully good though, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I plan on 10 years. I mean, I plan on, I can say in the next year, I plan on doing a lot. So 10 years is gonna be, I feel like I can really be able to, in 10 years, I'll definitely be able to help humanity, you know, like I'll definitely be able to reach down and help as many people as I can. And like, that's one thing I look forward to is just being creative with, you know, helping people. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen like the YouTuber Mr. Beast, but he's kind of cool.
I think I've heard of him,
like he just goes and does random stuff with his money. And so like, I think that's definitely one thing I plan on doing, just getting super creative.
Do you have any projects coming out musically, or not even music? If you have anything else you're working on, what do you got in the works right now?
I am working on finishing up my first album, so I'm planning on finishing that within the next month and a half. I say that because I have a lot of other stuff that I know that I'm not going to be able to sit down and get through that like I want to, but it's going to be definitely within the next month and a half, July the latest. So I am working on my first album, so it's going to be complete, and my everything is going to be a song off of that.
Nice.
So I am working on that.
Is that going to be on like all platforms and all that good stuff?
Yep, it'll be on all platforms. Yep,
awesome.
Correct.
Awesome. Yeah, you'll have to send me that when you drop it. I'll probably see it, but send it to me anyway. I want to hear it all the way through. So
absolutely.
Where can everyone find you on social media? Are you just on Instagram, or are you on anything else?
Right now, I'm just on Instagram. It's the only Jessica Jones, and I do plan on getting YouTube up there soon because I've had some people that wants me to put the music out on there. So I am going to be working on that probably this weekend, having a YouTube up and going from there. But right now it's just Instagram, and I always look for, like I said, if you make beats or whatever, you follow me, I'll definitely look into it. Videographers, photographers, whatever. I'll always check you out. So
awesome. Are there any final words of wisdom you'd like to give the listeners right now? Any last words of wisdom?
Always trust yourself. Try not to trust other people sometimes, especially when it comes to how you feel, because not everybody can tell you how you feel. So a lot of times that's something I had to learn. It's really like trusting myself and not trusting what other people have to say about me. So, I mean, always trusting yourself and believing yourself. Keep it that simple.
Simple is usually the best route, I'd say, when it comes to that.
Oh, and always have, you can't see it, but I'm sure it says, always have good vibes.
Oh, yeah, I see the shirt. They can see it.
I'll add that to it.
Perfect. Jessica, thank you again for reaching out, for wanting to be on. This is the first interview we've done, so this was nice. It was great kind of getting to know you. I think everybody's going to really appreciate what you were able to contribute today. So thank you very much, and hopefully we can do this again soon.
Absolutely. I thank you, man.
Yep.
Look forward to seeing some other ones.
Yep. We'll see you.
All right, take care.